Do you see the screen? Okay, great. Okay, so thank you so much for joining our Hump Day event. That is our signature virtual event of our group. So my name is Hiroko Nishikawa Norman. I'm the president of the Women's Council of Realtor LA-Beverly Hills Network. So this event is a signature event of our group for the Realtor, and almost every other week throughout this year, and we will have great speakers every time. And today we have a great guest speaker who is an incredible inspection expert, Chris Griffin with LaRocca Inspections. He's very knowledgeable and he will give us many tips, especially during the contingency period. So we're gonna introduce him shortly. So before the session, I would like to introduce our organization. Our organization is a Women's Council of Realtors, LA-Beverly Hills Network. So here is this year's governing board member. My name is Hiroko Nishikawa Norman. I'm a president of the network. President-elect Cindy Wu Friedman. She's here, Cindy. This year's treasurer, Tony English. She is a immediate past president in 2021. She's also taking a role for the Greater Los Angeles Association's treasurer. First Vice President Ann Yue, and Director of Membership Marissa Fletcher. She's here today. Director of Program Mary Perdomo. She's also here. And also we have a committee member, Kanika Kim, today. She's helping our event a lot. And our network is serving from downtown LA through Malibu, including LA, Beverly Hills, and Santa Monica, Hollywood, and Marina del Rey, Silicon Beach. So if you have any referral or inquiry in this area, please feel free to reach out to our member. So if you're not familiar with the Women's Council, let me introduce a little bit about our organization. Women's Council was founded in 1938. That is over 80 years ago. The National Association of Realtors, we all belong, are created in 1908. But for the first 20 years, females were barred admission from many local realtors associations. Women couldn't join the association. Can't believe it. So a separate group was created and women's division was formed at the annual convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in November 1938. That is the beginning of our association. For many decades, many dedicated members has served as a role model. So our vision statement is, we are a network of successful realtors and advancing women as business leaders in the industry and in the community we serve. I love this vision. Now we have over 12,000 members nationwide, more than 250 local network and states network. We have many leadership training and network opportunities. So you can join and you get many training and networking. I belong to many other associations, and I can tell you the Women's Council has a mindset to support each other because we are many female, want to support others and try to refer each other. So if you get involved our network activities and in more presence, you can make a great network referrals of your business, either in the local region and in the states, other states. Let me introduce our event planning. Oh, so this is other benefit. So our member benefit is like these many discounts, rental cars and office supplies and shipping flowers. If you are the member, you can get a couple discount late. And I want to introduce our events this year. So these pictures are all past event in 2021. for the first half of the year, we focusing to the virtual event because of the COVID happened. So the last half, we are setting a very fun event. This is a Brazilian theme event in Beverly Hills. And we did the educational event with a wine down Thursday, we call. And then we had a Halloween theme, horror stories, sharing educational event, and an installation event in December. So this year, we're gonna have a virtual event, Hump Day Wednesday, as I mentioned, almost every other Wednesdays. And next event is March 9th. We will invite the assessor, Jeff Plan, and he's gonna show many different aspects of the property tax. And then the following Wednesday, I'm sorry, this is February, but March 23rd, we are inviting our director membership and also solar professional, Marissa Fletcher, and talk about very great information, solar energy, solar in real estate. We're gonna send you the invitation later. And also the in-person event, we are planning to do a couple in-person event in May, top producer panel, in July, the talent show, and August, wind down Thursday again, and October, we do the horror story and installation in December. So if you're interested in our organization, please reach out to the membership director, Marissa Fletcher. The annual fee is $259, and for the in-person event, mostly the member discount rate, and then compared to the non-member lower rate, and then many network training, you can have an access for many different training and events. So we are also looking for a committee member. If you are interested in marketing, please feel free to reach out to me. Membership committee, Marissa, event committee, Mary Pordomo, organizing. So we are looking for you to join and see you sometimes again in many different things. Then I want to introduce our strategic partners, and Kanika will run the video. Please share the screen.
Okay. Give me one sec. All right, are you able to see?
Great, yes.
Perfect.
My name is Pepper Hu. I am an owner of a farmer's agency at the state of Walnut in San Gabriel Valley. We offer a full range of insurance services like auto home insurance, business insurance, life insurance, and medical insurance. For many years, we have been helping realtors just like you to provide a one-stop insurance shop to their buyers in the state of California. Every case is personalized in real estate business, which makes every home insurance to be unique. As a professional insurance agent, we never apply the same standard for all the homes. Instead, we're looking into the details of every single home to make sure we provide the best coverage for our customer. Not only help with escrow closing, we also assist realtors with post-escrow service, such as policy renewal reminder, policy annual review, and claim services. If you also work as a property manager for your client's investment property, you will be surprised with our claim services. One thing I have to mention to you that all my team members are multilingual. We speak English, Chinese, and Cantonese in the office. With all the 5 stars customers review, we're looking forward to work with you.
What's the second one?
My name is Marissa Fletcher, and I'm an independent solar consultant with King Solar Pros. I first learned about the solar industry about 10 years ago through my real estate career and helping buyers and sellers sell homes with solar on them. Fast forward to 2019, and I was introduced to power by a fellow realtor, and I started to find out the many benefits and savings that solar provides for our clients. Over time, I began to learn more and more about the solar industry, and I find my passion in helping clients learn about solar. Helping homeowners go solar is so rewarding. I simply sit with them and share with them the value and savings that they get when they decide to go solar. From the utility companies raising their rates every year, to the federal tax credits that are in play if you go solar. Also the fact that all new home builds in California must have solar on them. It just makes sense to look at solar and see if the numbers work. There are over 90 million US residences that qualify for solar, and only 3 million have solar on their home at this time. Power Energy has created a winning platform where we all work together to accomplish one mission, and that's to panel the planet. So, if you are in a service industry, such as real estate, roofing, heating or HVAC, or a pest inspection company or a home inspection company, and you want to provide value to your clients, then you should definitely look into solar and find out more about the Power platform.
Third and last one.
Hello, my name is Chris Griffin. LaRocca Inspections was founded in 1994 to serve your clients' needs for their home inspections in the greater Los Angeles area. We offer the four most common home inspections: the general physical, the sewer line, the mold inspection, and the chimney inspection. If there's an inspection your client desires that we don't offer, we have an extensive list of contractor referrals and inspectors on our website. Go to our website for contractor referrals and get your free copy of our Buyers and Sellers Guide to Inspections. We are your go-to resource for multiple inspection services and annual property reviews for homeowners. We look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and end this share.
Thank you so much. So we have lots of strategic partners, and then these are the all this year's strategic partner. You can see we have also association, Greater Los Angeles Realtors, who are the association of our network. And also you see the Farmers Insurance and Who Insurance Agency. Her name is Pepper Fu. So she did the session last time, and we can share the video. She provided the great information. And also the visual open house company, they are the serving the camera, photo shooting, and many different 3D products they do. And we're gonna have his maybe in the beginning of April, we will have him to be in a session, to do some session. Emerald sponsor, Green Box, and then Sapphire Level, King's Pro, King's Solar Pro, and Termigon, that's a termite inspection company. And so we and also LaRocca Inspections, and we all very appreciate all their sponsors' support. Thank you so much again. Now we're gonna move on to the guest speaker session. The title is the Inspection Contingency, Situational Answers to Help You Succeed. Then we would like to introduce our incredible speaker today. And I want to first introduce my President-elect Cindy Wu. She will introduce today's speaker's bio. Take it away, Cindy.
Great. Thank you very much, Madam President. So today I'd like to introduce Chris Griffin, President of LaRocca Inspection and the Czech companies. So as she's mentioned, my name is Cindy Wu, President-elect. Let me tell you a little bit about Chris. Chris is about promoting informed, educated, and transparent practices for housing market transactions in Southern California. So he first became a journeyman plumber and was a plumbing contractor for 18 years when a friend at LaRocca Inspection recruited him as a general physical home inspector in 2000. And he obtained his general contractor license and increased his role with LaRocca Inspections, becoming the director of inspections training in 2002, and then became, and because of his extensive plumbing knowledge, he founded the sewage line check in 2004, which provides sewage inspection services to buyers, sellers, and property owners. He then quickly became passionate about educating realtors in the field of real estate inspections and was able to cultivate relationships of cooperation and transparency within the real estate industry. And in 2007, Chris was asked to be the general manager of LaRocca Inspections and later became the managing partner in 2012. And more recently, a full partner in all of their inspection companies. In 2019, John LaRocca sadly passed away, and Chris stepped into John's shoes as the president of the LaRocca Inspection and the check companies. So returning to his passion a few years ago, Chris has been educating realtors, home buyers, investors, and sellers regarding property inspection and standards. And that's why he's the perfect speaker for today. Not only he's going to share the benefits and the protection of inspection, he's also going to appreciate the light bulb moments that he can help create with people for the value and importance of properties. For his downtime, during his downtime, he likes spending time with his wife and family and cooking for his family and friends and caring for their 3 basin hunts. And he's also an avid fisherman of the Pacific Ocean and a certified dive master. So he also scuba dives in South Pacific and whenever is possible. So without further ado, I now like to welcome Chris Griffin, our amazing speaker, to tell you everything there's to know about inspections. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. That was very nice. Can everyone hear me? Okay, good. That was a very nice introduction. It's really kind of fun hearing my bio, if you will, a little bit of history. It's been a rocket ride at LaRocca Inspections. I've really enjoyed my time here. 21 years now going on. Just enjoy being with you guys and being in this industry. And I see that we have a lot of participants. My screen is showing 59 right now. I want to thank each of you for joining us and thank the Women's Council for putting this on and having me here today. I'm deeply honored. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get into today's presentation. Can everybody see the screen? You can all see that?
Yes, and you can also put in presentation mode.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not used to that because I usually just it comes up. How do I put on presentation mode? Is that a Zoom thing?
It's okay, no worries. Please go ahead.
Oh. Please do.
Oh, you can make it.
Now, will I be able to? Oh, terrific. Thank you very much. That works. That works. Okay, guys, great. Well, again, thanks for having me here. Today's presentation is all about the inspection contingency, situational answers to help you succeed. I think that this presentation will possibly have a little bit for everyone. I believe that newer agents as well as seasoned agents will get something from this. Many of you seasoned agents or brokers may already be doing many of these things that I might be suggesting. Maybe not, maybe it'll be a light bulb moment, I don't know. And hopefully for the newer agents that are with us today, you can take something away from this presentation and use it for your future success. Basically, what we're going to do here is talk about the inspection contingency period from a home inspection or from the inspection side of things. So in other words, I've been doing this for about 21 years. I've seen pitfalls and successes in those things that work or don't work during that period when dealing with the inspection process. And the first thing I'd like to talk to you about, a very important topic, is setting your buyer's expectations. Each buyer is going to have their own particular set of expectations, right? If it's a brand new buyer, never bought a home before, they know nothing about this game that we play. All the paperwork can be very confusing and so forth and so on. And really getting them to understand what the inspection contingency is about, what their role is in it, what hat they wear, so forth and so on, what you as your agent will be doing. And this goes out to Tani, who sent a little comment earlier. This sort of applies as well on the listing side. Much of this information I'm sharing with you can also be used in a pre-listing inspection, or to help your seller understand what they're selling and to price it accordingly and so forth and so on. So setting your buyer's expectations is very important. Regarding the transaction, what happens during the inspection contingency, the importance of the inspection contingency. Oftentimes, buyers who don't understand the inspection contingency because they don't know what it's for. Like, what do you do with that information? You as realtors and agents and brokers, you use that information mostly to fill out your request for repairs so that you can then continue the transaction moving forward. You can negotiate on their behalf and so forth and so on. But for the most part, that information is to be used to inform the client what they're buying and or selling, for peace of mind, for future repairs or reference or so forth and so on, or to use during that escrow to request repairs. I mean, there's many different things that reports and that information can be used for. I think it's important, especially with new buyers. Obviously, if you're dealing with professional or seasoned buyers, especially with new buyers, to make sure that they understand that if they're not buying a brand new home, it may have some conditions that require attention, as any home does. Even brand new homes oftentimes have conditions that require attention. So letting them know up front, they find that beautiful dream home, they're planning on raising their family there, and maybe some issues come up. Everything is repairable for the most part, and that's going to be up to you and your client to have it continue moving it forward with the information that your inspector gives you. But basically letting them know that we may not find the perfect home. There's going to be something usually that comes up, and it's a matter of just handling that as it comes up. The Buyer's Inspection Elections document, this is a CAR document, California Association of Realtors. Many buyers believe there is a home inspection. In other words, it's like one singular, you get the home inspector out there and that person is going to tell you everything about that home. That's not necessarily true. There's at least 37 choices of inspections on the BIE, the Buyer's Inspection Election document. We'll have a look at it. Remind the buyer this is likely a buyer's largest financial investment of their life. Especially again, if they're just searching for that dream home to raise their family or where they're going to settle down, so forth and so on. It would behoove them as a buyer to look over that document and choose the inspections they feel are important to them. Oftentimes, the general physical inspector is going to be recommending if an issue comes up or a condition is found that would require further evaluation by someone else other than he or she who's doing the general physical inspection. Let's say it may need a plumber to come out and further evaluate the plumbing system. The buyer should they should know about that beforehand, that those things can come up. So enough time needs to be given for that. The buyer would choose the additional inspections based on their own concerns or curiosity. Many buyers may be curious about I don't know, mold. Maybe there's no indication of mold in a house. Maybe the seller's not disclosing anything about mold. Maybe the general physical inspector never really discovered anything, but the buyer may have their own concern or curiosity about it, so that they would then choose a mold inspection so that they have peace of mind. This is a sample of the buyer's inspection election document. As you can see, it has 37 inspections on this that the buyer can choose from. It also states in this highlighted area here, buyer is responsible for choosing the provider and ordering the inspection. So in other words, CAR is recommending that you have your buyer call my office and order the inspection and pay for the inspection and so forth and so on. Now, we know that how this game is played. You guys are the conduit to the transaction, and sometimes a client sort of, their schedule may not meet yours and so forth and so on. So we understand that you may call in, but I still think it's very important to protect you as well. Part of this presentation goes into the layer of the onion, that those things that you can use as agents to protect yourself. This is part of it. Having your buyers understand the process of the home inspection or the other inspections, and having them choose them based on their own curiosity or desire. How about a short contingency? Are we in that market right now still? Yeah. Short contingencies are all over the place. We've got multiple offers. We've got people coming in above asking, so forth and so on. Contingencies have literally gone from 17 to 7, 5 days, sometimes even 3. How is the buyer protected? How do you provide your fiduciary duty to your client in 3 days of a contingency period? It's very, very important to have that buyer on board, available, focused, working with you, available for all appointment times, being at the inspection. Obtain the seller's disclosures as fast as possible. Those disclosures in conjunction with your AVID, your agent visual inspection disclosure, in conjunction with the inspectors being there, they can help to formulate information that can really tell, the condition of the home or what they're buying. Try to have the buyer book all the inspections on the same day. Now, this isn't necessarily a plug for my company, but if you want a general physical, a chimney, a mold inspection, and a sewer inspection, we typically can do all those on the same day. If your client is interested in those inspections, or you're recommending those inspections to your client, we oftentimes are available to do all of those on the same day. Again, in those short contingencies, saving that time. Having further evaluation, if that does come up, as I mentioned earlier, maybe the plumbing system needs further evaluation, the roof, the heating and air. Try to have all those contractors or those specialists come out again on the same day, because that way, again, you're just shortening that time period to gather your information. And then, of course, the business and professions codes regarding the inspection process, the inspection contingency, section 2079.5, talks about how the buyer has a duty to exercise their duty to protect themselves. That duty includes their own visual inspection of the property, much like you guys have your AVID. I enjoy, or when I was an inspector, I enjoyed grabbing my buyer, my client, and having them walk through with me and just, start looking at the house themselves. Grab a window or two, move a door. What do you think? Are they easy to open and close? Is this one sticking? So forth and so on. Is your king bed going to fit on that wall with your 2 nightstands next to it? Or is it going to be, crowded? Can you get that recliner through that doorway? I used to hand them my tape measure and whatnot, and they would just enjoy sort of discovering those things in the home that they were going to buy. I think that's important, very important, because they have a role. Again, they have a hat that they wear to be part of this process. I would prefer that buyers be at the inspections, just period. I want them to know what they want to know. How about protecting yourself as a real estate agent? How do you minimize risk for yourself? Don't go beyond your contract. Adhere to your contract. Deliver what is promised in the contract. If it's not in writing in the contract and you promise something, then I would put that in writing and have you and your client both sign that, so that there's no mistakes down the road what was agreed to or what was promised. It's in writing. Perform a diligent and thorough avid. I know most of you, many of you, all of you, I'm not sure, have probably done fairly extensive avid training, your agent visual inspection disclosure. It's not just a simple little, form that you walk through willy-nilly. You are there to actually really observe those conditions that are observable and note them down. No, you're not crawling under the house, you're not getting on the roof, and you're not going into the attic. That's our job. We'll handle that for you. But really perform a diligent and thorough avid. It helps to protect yourself and protect your client. And honestly, any information, I'm a firm believer that information, when it's above boards and on the table, offers protection for all parties concerned. Disclose, disclose, disclose. You guys have heard about location, location, location. In the inspection industry, we say disclose, disclose, disclose. You can't go wrong, in my opinion. When answering questions, I like to recommend to referring them to applicable documents. Even if you answer the question correctly, I would then show them the document that has that question, that has that answer to that question in writing. We're going to see some of those here in a second. I said a little bit earlier, the agent's visual inspection disclosure is often used in tandem with the transfer disclosure statement to allow agents to include greater information from their own inspections. I mean, it's wonderful. If you were doing your avid and you had your TDS, you could go look at what it is the seller is disclosing. There's a stain on the ceiling in the master bedroom. Boom, that goes onto your avid. And now we have two sources of information that then your client can look at and decide how they want to assess that or what they want to do about that. The California Association of Realtors documents that typically are used during the inspection contingency period, you guys are probably aware of these. These are the most common ones that I have found that I refer to and that I use oftentimes in education and that I study myself so that I kind of know what you guys are doing and how I can help you with your jobs. The RPA, the Residential Purchase Agreement and Joint Escrow Instructions, essentially your contract. It actually does have an entire section that talks about inspections and that the buyer is responsible for inspections, and that if that inspection, if that escrow doesn't go through, that inspection report then gets given to the seller and so forth and so on. It goes into, it doesn't say it goes into a disclosure package, but then it's transferred over to the seller. The statewide buyer seller's advisory, this is one of my favorite CAR documents. It has a lot of information regarding both the buyers and the sellers, as I said earlier, hat, the description of what CAR is recommending that they should be doing during this process of the inspection contingency. The AVID, we discussed that. The buyer's inspection election document, we had a look at that. The buyer's inspection advisory. This is an advisory that you as an agent is advising to have something done, a particular inspection that you feel is important to have done. And along with that, number 9, the buyer's inspection waiver. Very important also in protecting yourself, your client, and all other parties concerned, is if your client requests to not have an inspection or refuses to have an inspection or just generally doesn't have an inspection that you as a professional know that they should have them sign that buyer's inspection waiver. That way they can't come back to you. It's just, again, it's a professionalism, and it helps to protect you, and it keeps your communication lines, if you will, very clear with your client. There's nothing that can get muddled up. Everything is in writing and there's signatures on everything. You guys have a lot of paperwork, I understand, and I know I'm adding to it, but you'll get through it. You guys are professionals. The seller property questionnaire, the disclosure regarding real estate agency relationships, so forth and so on. These are documents that you use. And again, these are documents that are oftentimes very important during that contingency period. I said earlier, referring to the documents, I have some examples here. Let's say your client has a question for you about, well, what happens with the report if I decide I don't want this house? Well, show them that section in the RPA. There's a whole section that explains it. You can answer it, but then obviously back it up with, yeah, that's on page 2 of your report section or of the RPA section, this and that, whatever. I'll refer them to any applicable CAR documents, such as the ones that we just went over. What should I be doing during this period of inspection contingency? Well, let me refer you to the buyer's inspection, seller's buyer's document that then they can read and understand a little bit more about what their role is. The inspection reports. All too often, we may have an agent or a client call in to find out if something was either missed or did they talk about this in the report, and it's on page 9. You know, the buyer and sellers pay for information. They don't pay for 57 pages, you know, of pictures, although it may be 57 pages of pictures. Those pictures and those words that come with it add up to information. So yes, it's a good idea to read those reports, understand them, ask questions if they don't understand the report, or get further information from their realtor, inspector, professional, myself, whatever can help them. Applicable standards of practice. You guys have a standards of practice. The inspection industry in California has the standards of practice. CREA, which is the California Residential Inspection Association, a Real Estate Inspection Association, I'm sorry. And then the California Civil Codes pertaining to contingency periods, one I mentioned a little bit earlier. So referring them to the documents keeps, again, everything in line. There's nothing, you know, there's not a he said, she said. There's not a like, well, I didn't hear that. You never said that. You promised me this, blah, blah, blah. You guys have all dealt with that. You know what happens there. Just keeping it all organized and in writing and referring them to the actual document. I refer my employees to documents. Oftentimes, if they come and ask me a question, I may know the answer, but I don't want to be the source, if you will, of that answer, because maybe I become targeted later if they don't understand my answer, or if they think I said something that I didn't say, or if I accidentally left something out. So I refer them to a document or my internal company policies or HAT write-ups that we have that would answer that question. It really just makes for a better way to make sure communication is totally understood. Statewide Buyer Sellers Advisory talks about mold. Your client has mold concerns. I mentioned in one of my bullet points that I'm going to give you a very simple way to handle client mold concerns. And to be honest with you, it's not about saying, hey, Mr. Home Inspector, Miss Home Inspector, do I have mold? Because that person honestly is not the expert that would be able to tell you. You as a realtor would never want to say yes or no to that question, of course. That would put you at risk. I would recommend showing them, in this particular iteration of the Statewide Buyer Seller Advisory, it was item number 6. This changes constantly, so I'm not positive what item it is in the most recent version. But obviously, mold may be caused by water leaks or other source of moisture, not limited to flooding, leaks in pipes, leaks in windows, so forth and so on. And the seller is advised to basically disclose, you know, the idea or any existence of those things, of which he or she is aware. They may not be aware of any mold issue, and that's perfectly fine. I understand that. But remember, we're trying to handle a client concern. So then that would be step 1. Ask the seller to disclose, are you aware of any potential issues that had mold or potential previous flooding or leaking or anything like that? Get the seller to be reminded and disclose those things. Mold may be hidden. Seller may be completely unaware of its existence. Mold is often undetectable from a visual inspection, a professional general property inspection, and even a structural pest control inspection. If they're undetectable of those inspections, I'm pretty well guaranteeing you that they're undetectable in your AVID as well. So at that point, it's time to bring in the bigger guns, if you will. If your client is still concerned about mold concerns, then it's time to bring in a mold specialist and have the property tested for mold by an environmental hygienist or a mold inspector, somebody that has a little more information that then they can bring the client to further understanding of the situation or the non-situation. So this is just a great, concise way to help your client decide what they want to do if they have mold concerns. All too often it gets into the argument of, did you see it? Did you see it? Do you know if it's here? What should I do? What should I do? So I've been part of that argument. I really have. I've sat as an inspector at a table practically with my heads in my hands, and they're asking me, do I have mold? And I really can't, unless I see something obvious, like a wall is saturated, wet, and it's got stuff that I think might be mold growing on it. But, you know, sometimes it's just, as that document said, it's just not that obvious. How about helping them invest in their investment? Oftentimes, the client wants to save money on an inspection. And I understand that. Everybody wants to save money on things. I get it. I would suggest that saving money on an inspection is not really the way to go. You want your inspector to work for you, not walk into that house already begrudgingly that he feels like his client is taking money from his or her pocket. In helping your client understand that, a good answer might be reminding them that this is their only opportunity to really know the condition of the property they're purchasing for what, 700,000, 800,000, 3 million. You know, for the cost of 500, 600, 700, 1,500 for maybe all four, it's really a drop in the bucket. It's about 1/2,000th of the average listing price, paying for multiple inspections. So just remind them of that, the importance of inspections, so forth and so on. And again, if the buyer decides to waive their right to any inspections that you recommend, have them sign that buyer's inspection waiver. Wow, I kind of blew through that information. I didn't even know I was coming up to an end there. What do we got? 50? Oh, wow, I'm like 5 minutes behind. So wonderful, that's great. I hope that was very helpful. That was my presentation for you today. I guess we'll go ahead and I think we're going to open this up to Q&A. Is that correct?
Yes. Hi. Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, if you can put them on the chat, please. We're going to start with the questions for Chris. What a great presentation. So much information for us.
Oh, thank you. You're so welcome. Is it Rona? Rona Brand?
This is Mary. Oh.
She has a question.
Okay.
Her question is, how much is the inspection when you do all of them in one day? The fact that they're being done all in one day doesn't change the price of the inspection. What changes, they're still the same amount for each inspection. What changes the price of the inspection would be the size of the home or size of the property. Your sewer line inspection is going to start at $325. Your chimney fireplace inspection is going to start at $325. Your LaRocca general physical inspection is going to start for a home, I think, and you may have to call my office to get more accurate information. I think it starts at $550, $525, somewhere in there. And then your mold inspection starts at $325, not including your samples, if we have to take samples for your mold. So I hope that answers your question there, Rona. And
yes.
then
We have David Norman with a question with regard to the mold. If there are signs of mold like water leak, if you have a very short contingency period and seller has backup buyers and offers, what are you supposed to do when the sellers won't give you an extension?
Wow, that's a great question. And honestly, you know, David, that is a really good question. And I don't think I could do you any justice by answering that question for you from my end of things, from an inspection end of things. I think that is more something you would want to talk to your broker about or your manager. If I were to advise you from an inspection end of things, I can't tell you what I think you should do if your seller won't give you an extension. I think somehow we have to get a reasonable handling about the potential for a mold issue. That may be just getting your buyer on board that they would handle whatever issue came up later and signing the appropriate paperwork with their understanding that they are going to be solely responsible for anything that's found. So ultimately, it's a really fantastic question, but unfortunately, I think I would be remiss if I tried to really answer that for you because I don't think I'm the proper person for that.
Okay, thank you, Chris. I have another question. What are the most important inspections to have when buying a home?
That's a great question. Obviously, again, going back to the idea of there's one inspection of the general physical inspection. That is the most common inspection. Is it the most important? Not necessarily. In many cases, it can be, but not in all cases. If you're buying a home that when you walk in, you get this sort of damp and musty smell and odor, and you see wet stains everywhere and so forth and so on. Maybe your most important inspection is going to be a mold inspection. The sewer line is always underground. There's no way to know what its condition is until you send a camera down it. And if you do have a chimney or a fireplace, of course, it's very important to have that for safety reasons inspected. So I would say that probably the top 5 to start with are the general physical. If the house has a chimney or a fireplace, then that one. If the client has a mold concern, or if the house, or if someone discloses or discovers there may be a mold concern, then that one would be important. The sewer line is always important because, again, there's no way to know the condition of that sewer line. And then number 5 used to be a mandatory inspection, and now it's elected by the buyer, would be the termite inspection. We do live in Southern California. We have termites. They cause damage. Just a good idea.
Thank you so much. And we have another question from Edwin. How long would be the fastest turnaround time for mold lab test, etc.?
Typically, we can turn around mold samples within a day or 2. Oftentimes, we can request a rush on the sample and get it back normally the next day. And then your inspector can get back to you and your client and let them know what they found. But normal turnaround time is about 2 to 3 days when we're taking samples. And it also depends on the type of samples and how many we took.
Great. I have another question here. What sort of inspections does LaRocca and the check companies provide?
Well, we provide the 4, I would say, most common, other than the termite. We provide the sewer line. My sewer line check professionals is that company. LaRocca Inspections is the general physical inspection company. Moisture and mold check professionals is my moisture and mold inspection company. And chimney check professionals is my chimney and fireplace inspection company. And all of them obviously have their importances in every contingency. I would suggest coming into the colder times of the year, the holiday times, really informing your client that it's a good idea to have that chimney inspected just for safety reasons, whether they're going to be using their fireplace for heating the home or secondary heat source, or just ambiance or romance, whatever it may be. Obviously, a fire, a chimney fire, is kind of like a sudden event, much like an earthquake. So it's a good idea for the price, to be paid on that inspection for that peace of mind. So those are the 4 that we offer.
Great. Thank you so much, Chris. And how does one go about choosing a home inspector?
Oh, really good question as well. I would think that mostly how many inspections that inspector has done is the most important thing. If that inspector, okay, here's the thing. There's no licensing requirement, nor is there any provided in the state of California for an inspector. There's no agency that says you have passed these tests and you are a qualified inspector. Literally, I was a plumber one day and I was an inspector the next. So that's kind of what I'm saying. I have a mechanical background. I was a general contractor, so I was a good candidate to move into the inspection industry. But on that same side of that coin, someone who's coming out of a job, maybe out of the textile industry or working in Walmart or wherever they are, they can just say they're a home inspector. They can literally go out and get cards printed and say they're a home inspector. So it's important to find out their experience, the number of inspections they've done, the type of inspections they've done. Have they done a numerous amount of the inspections that you're requesting in that area? Because inspections, areas can have certain nuances or certain things that are particular to those areas, such as expanding soils or sliding hillsides or things like that. So it's a good idea to have that inspector ask the questions of that inspector. Is your inspector familiar with those things in that area? Being a member of a trade association is great, but it's not all telling. Many people have driver's licenses and they're not good drivers. Many people play golf and they're not good golfers. So you know what I mean? They may have their little golf cart or whatever. I'm a scuba diver. I've been scuba diving for 35 years. I have over 5,000 logged dives. My education in scuba diving far exceeds most others' education. But as a open water diver, when you first learn how to dive and get your certificate, you're a scuba diver. Are you practiced? Are you seasoned? Are you experienced? No, but you are a scuba diver. So it's very important to not necessarily just look at the credential, look at the actual experience, I think is the most important thing.
Great answer. And another question, can you tell us more about EEE inspections? I'm really, want to know more about this.
Oh boy. Yes, I would love to tell you more about EEE. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop my screen sharing real quick. And I'm going to pull up another quick slide. We're going to go through 3 pictures that are going to explain EEE. This one I'm actually excited about because I think many of you may not know about this one. So here we go. All right. Show you a couple pictures. Can everyone see this picture? This is a picture of a balcony or a deck. And as you can see here in the picture, can everyone see my cursor?
No, I think we're seeing the wrong screen.
Okay, very good. What screen do we see?
I think we're seeing your folders and files.
Okay, so when I move that screen down here, can you see this picture?
Please try and push the new screen share. New share or something.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing here. I'm going to go back to my share. I'm going to open that. Oh, I see what I'll do. I'll do this.
You have to click on your file. Click on your file.
I did.
Double click on it.
It opens up in my screen full screen. Oh. You can't see this photo?
Yeah. Then you can new share again.
But double click, yeah.
Oh, new share.
Yeah. New share and choose a picture, please.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, technology.
I'm a Zoom expert now.
There you go.
Great, here we go. Yes.
All right, sorry for wasting all of your time.
No problem.
10 people just dropped out of our audience. No, I'm kidding. Okay, good. So everyone can see this picture. So this picture basically is of a balcony. And an unfortunate accident occurred in Berkeley, California some years ago, where unfortunately there were a number of people who lost their lives. They were standing on this balcony at a dinner party or a gathering, and the balcony collapsed. So essentially, I'm going to show another picture here. Do you see that, or do I have to do new share again? New share. Okay, and that one. Can you see that one now? Good. So this is the picture of that balcony further away. You can get an idea. You see the double doors here, and this is where the balcony was attached. So basically, some new laws were created that require, let me bring up a new picture, new share, share that. Can everyone see that? Okay, good. So this is a picture of what gives you an idea. EEE. EEE stands for Exterior Elevated Elements, E3. These are elements that are on the exterior of a building, 3 units or above, that are made of wood that attach to the exterior of the building. Much like that balcony would have been, we saw that it was made of wood because the wood failed, because the vapor barriers that the guard against moisture failed, wood rotted, deck collapsed. So we're talking about decks, we're talking about balconies, we're talking about exterior hallways, exterior stairs, guardrails, anything basically that is above 72 inches from the ground, as you see here, exterior elevated elements that are 72 inches or less above grade are exempt from this law. Now, what does this law mean? One more slide to share with you. And here it is. This California's new balcony inspection laws. This is Senate Bill 721 and Senate Bill 326. So over here on the right, you have your building. Does your building have 3 or more units? If the answer is no, no inspection is required. Does your building have wood framed exterior elevated elements? If the answer is no, no inspection is required. Remember, balconies and staircases could be made out of steel, and they could be attached to the building with steel. But if the answer is yes to those first 2, then you would move down the line. Is your building classified as a common interest development? No. So in other words, it's let's say it's a fourplex. It's not a condo. Typically a common interest development for all intent and purposes would be a condo. If the answer is no, the inspection is still required under SB 721. If the answer is yes, the inspection is still required under SB 326. And the reason why this is slightly different is because SB 721 was passed first. SB 326 regarding common interest developments was not passed until later. There are certain criteria that must be met for who can do these inspections. These inspections are supposed to be owners of the buildings are the ones that are required to have the inspections. If they don't do the inspection, they're required to disclose that in a transaction. I'm going to give you now a quick picture of your RIPA, right? Everyone knows what your RIPA is. And that is your residential income property purchase agreement and joint escrow instructions. Can you all see that? Good. So if we scroll down to page, I think it's 3 or 4. Item H talks about elevated elements. If the property is part of a building with 3 or more dwelling units, Health and Safety Code section 17973 requires that an inspection of any exterior elevated elements, such as but not limited to, et cetera, be completed by January 1st, 2025, and every 6 years thereafter. Now, this is a very extensive law. There's a lot of verbiage in this law. Again, it used to be that the condos did not have to be inspected, but now they do. The condo inspection would require an architect or a particular type of person or inspector that can do those inspections, whereas the other inspections can be done by most people that have the experience at that sort of trade or that inspection. But that is Triple E, guys, and I know this is a short sort of like, I just wanted to give you that information. This is coming down the pike. Check your RIPAs if you're involved in those properties. Obviously, your RIPA says here that seller shall, within the time period specified in paragraph 19, provide to buyer a copy of the inspection and accompanying report. And if any corrective work is required, proof that corrective work has been completed in accordance with code and permit requirements, or number 2, a statement that no such inspection has been made, or if made, that no corrective work has been completed in accordance with the Health and Safety Code. Going back to kind of what we were talking about during this entire presentation, it's really about communicating what is actually happening and having buyers and sellers on board and signed agreements amongst them so that the transactions can move forward. So I'd love to give a presentation actually on Triple E. That'll be at a later time. But for right now, thank you so much for spending the time with me. I really appreciate you having me here.
Thank you very much, Chris. We appreciate it.
Yes.
And Chris, you're always a joy. I love this man. Okay, I'm going to say something bad. This guy will answer your emails at 9 o'clock at night. He'll answer emails on the weekend. I have bugged this poor guy so many times, and he's a sweetheart, and he answers right away. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you so much, Tony. That's very nice of you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris.
I'm going to stop sharing, I think. Yes, there we go.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you. Tony typed on the chat. So if you want to get the free instructions guide from LaRocca Inspection, please check the website. And then Chris, can somebody ask you some question by email to you? And then
oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I think on we can share my email address.
Yes,
if anybody has any further questions, I can be of further assistance. Please email me. I'll put you in touch with the correct person that can answer your questions if it's not me.
Okay. Yeah. So I typed the typed the information in the chat. So please feel free to contact Chris at the email president at the specialty inspection.com. And then if you want to schedule the appointment, please call to the company.
Right. I have a question that just popped up in the chat from Nyla or Neela.
Neela.
Yeah. Neela. The question is, how do we receive the pricing for repairs, the pricing estimator? That's called Repair Pricer. You would call my office and request that Repair Pricer be part of your inspection package, and then they will tell you the price of that and get it moving and so forth and so on. Repair Pricer is something that we're just starting to develop and just starting to introduce and offer. And basically, we understand your client's needs to have immediate answers as to how much those things might cost. So we're working with Repair Pricer to be able to offer your clients that information to make your transactions faster and smoother.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, so yeah, so thank you again for all your information, and then I wanna let's give him a big applause to him. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's again a pleasure and my honor to be here with you all today.
Okay, so yeah, so today's recording video will be posted on our YouTube. So if you miss and then you wanna learn again, we're gonna send out the video